Flag just came into open beta, and we're going to go ahead and do a tier list today. Let's break down each character and figure out where we feel like they are going to be on the list. Let me also know your thoughts in the comments. But let's get started off right here with Tango. Tango is really, really good. I mean, you got his Q ability, which kind of like is a stun grenade, and you have actual mines. Ultimate's really strong and powerful. I think Tango definitely might be an S tier type of situation. I'm not 100% certain on where I'm going to want to put him, but we'll play. I like to throw one up there as kind of my starter, and then from there we can figure out, you know, do we want to move that around at the end. Anyway, next up is Arsenal. Arsenal is probably S tier in my opinion. I mean, the damage from her basic abilities is really good. Being able to teleport people and your turrets is really strong, especially when you get 2 turrets. I also love I love setting up both turrets and then teleporting people into both turrets. It's quite fun. And then, you know, you have your heal bot, which is really strong, and you just have to stand by it to heal you. So Arsenal's in a really good place and definitely very strong. Scout is also really, really good. And, you know, in any PvP game, you want to see people up in the A and the B, right? And then S tier is kind of outlier. CD is like they're still good, but Scout is really strong. Probably one of the best sniper type characters in the game. Very quick, very good for finding the flag. I will say I think there's other heroes stronger than Falcon, but I don't... Or Scout, sorry. He has a Falcon. Ignore me. But I don't know if... I think he has to be A as well. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll see where it all plays out. All right. We also have Knives. Knives is really, really, really good and one of the easier characters. Honestly, one of my favorite characters. But I will say Knives doesn't have a lot of defense, not a lot of range. So you kind of are like a one-trick type of character with Knives sometimes. Like you kind of Inviso, quick dash, you know, whatever. Very good at getting the other side, though. Very good at defense because of that. But I think based on the other characters, she might go into the B tier just because she is a little bit easier to play. But she can also be stopped, right? Like Tango's mines or a lot of the stuns, or if you get caged by a bounty hunter, it's a lot harder to get out of those situations. Skyfire is next, and Skyfire is an interesting one because when I first played Skyfire, I thought he was too difficult compared to the others in the sense of it wasn't going to be worth it to play him. And I mean that in like a good way, but I didn't think it necessarily be worth it to play him. But that my mind has since been changed as I've had some good games of Skyfire, and I think he has a lot of potential. He's obviously just a higher skilled ceiling character. So definitely one you want to give a chance. He's one of the most unique characters, I think, in Last Flag as well. And that also makes him really fun. I do think he's probably going to go on the on the B tier with Knives. We're going to leave him on B for now, and then we'll kind of see where we decide to place everyone else. Okay, Rhodey is interesting because Rhodey has some really good abilities. Rhodey also, you know, can just kind of lob their grenades into certain places. But I'd actually say that Rhodey is probably the C tier. I think that so many people can outrange Rhodey that if you're not really getting your grenades into the best position, or you can't land them with the stun, then it can be really, really difficult. Whereas like Skyfire, if you shoot down your ability that throws fire on the ground and you're doing more fire damage with the flamethrower, you also kind of have an escape with a jetpack. I feel like there's a lot more there, and I feel like the shield on Rhodey isn't the greatest. So it makes it really hard to, once again, get out of situations. So I'd say Rhodey is probably a C tier. Bounty Hunter is also going to be a C tier. But here's the thing. Well, these last couple are really hard for me. Because Bounty Hunter is really good. If you get someone trapped into your cage, I'd say Bounty Hunter is B tier, right above Skyfire. Because if you get someone trapped in your cage and you throw down your explosive grenades, you have a really good chance of taking them out. But what he lacks in the most for sure is range. So a lot of the other characters, Tango, Scout, even Arsenal to an extent, have a lot of range on them, but Bounty Hunter is not. So that's why I think he lacks a little bit. We might do some moving around once we get all 9 up here. But that brings us actually to the Banshee. Banshee is really good in the right hands, but can aim really well across the map. But I actually think I'm going to place her in C tier above Rhodey. I know that's going to be controversial for some people that have played this game for a long time because Banshee is good. I just feel like it can be harder for Banshee to deal with all the other abilities that can pin her down, like Skyfire's Disco Ball or Tango's Mine or something like that. And I think Tango can outdamage Banshee in a 1v1 unless you're really hitting your shots on Banshee. So that's where the skill level kind of has to come into play here. If you're really, really good at hitting your shots, Banshee doesn't really have any fall off. So you might be like an A tier Banshee because you're going to hit every shot. And I think that's important to take note with any tier list, is it's going to depend on the person that's playing them. If I'm really bad at Banshee, it's going to be hard for me to envision her up into the S tier unless it's like a complete outlier and there's no doubt about it. But I haven't yet seen this since the game is so new. So I feel like most players, Banshee is going to be listed around the C tier. Now here's where it's hard for me. Lumberjack is arguably one of my favorite characters in the game, by far. And he can do a lot of damage. His ultimate is really good at keeping him alive. But I think if we say that there has to be a D tier, which there technically doesn't have to, but if we say there has to be a D tier, I think it goes to Lumberjack. He does have a nice dash that can help close the gaps, but by the time you get to somebody, you're probably just a goner. Now, that's not to say that Lumberjack isn't good, and that's something I want to preface this whole list with. I think every character is actually good and in a pretty decent place, but just based on my experience playing the game throughout the demos that have come, this might be where I line everyone up. And that's someone who's, like I said, I think Lumberjack's my favorite hero. But I just think that he's supposed to be a little tankier almost, right? But I think because of that, he feels a little easy to kill sometimes unless you have your ultimate. Not to mention his skill level is not the most difficult, but a little bit, right? You have an ability that kind of knocks them away from you. So you need to make sure you either dash or throw your axes out and pull them back quickly so that you don't give them an advantage by launching them away. But that's where I kind of think it sits right here. So let me go back through the list. Arsenal at S tier, Tango Scout at A, Knives, Bounty Hunter, Skyfire at B, Banshee and Rhodey at C, and Lumberjack at D. I like this list. I guarantee as I think more on it, there could be more changes. But for now, in the first week of open beta, I feel like this is a pretty solid list. Let me know your thoughts in the comments though, because I know everyone has different opinions and I love to discuss those opinions because that's what makes everyone so great. So let me know what you guys think, what your tier list would be, and I hope you guys have a great day.